from Psalm 73:26. And it says this: my flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. That phrase, but God, changes everything.
Most people probably remember when that relates to vulnerability would be Psalm 51. His recognition that, yeah, what I did to Uriah was wrong. Yeah, what I did to God was wrong. Yeah, what I did to Bathsheba was wrong. But against you and you only have I sinned. Like this awareness that he has grieved God.
And it's also like unbelievably vulnerable. The fact that David would write this song and then admit that it was about like this giant moral failure in his life. It's like the muscles flex a little bit. And God says, I can redeem even that. I can bring a good song out of that kind of a broken heart.
It's in the Psalms that we read, they pierced my hands and my feet. This emotional description of what it's like to be crucified. That's in the Psalms. That's not in Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John.
Even though they have instruction, a lot of times it's just someone worshiping, someone praying, someone asking, someone begging, someone repenting, and it feels human. It feels like something you see in small group.
I'm looking at David and I'm going, he's a hot mess. Like, he's called a man after God's own heart. And here he is directing not just joy and praise, but gratitude and lament.
Well, there's very little lament in contemporary worship, but one of the things that again speaks of the perfection in the Psalms is that the full range of human emotion is there.
Probably 20 years ago, I was going through a tough season in my marriage, and I felt super alone, and I said some things to God in prayer that were scared me, that I was that vulnerable with him, that angry with him. And I called a friend of mine, and I just kind of wept into the phone. I was like, I feel scared almost that I opened this part of my heart to him. And he kind of laughed and he said, God can take it, like it's okay. And I think the Psalms give us permission
to go in scripture where we feel this tension between faith and doubt, unbelief and surrender. And we see real people that actually existed wrestling with these things, and many of these people being called faithful.
We think we have to have it all together, and I think the Psalms are evidence that we don't.
But even when you're joyful, the Psalms gives you that language to allow you to connect your joy and realize, oh, that comes from God. That was a blessing from God.
Sometimes I have a hard time getting excited about reading the Bible. You know, some of us who maybe grew up around it, like, can feel like, man, I've read this before, and it can feel like, is there anything new and interesting? And I don't feel that way about the Psalms.
The King James Version has explanation, it uses words that have a level of depth to it. But then there are times when the newer translations feels really palatable and something that it feels like someone is talking to me how I talk to me.
I love that this project is bringing these together. I think it's a beautiful marriage and a tool to help people come as they are and to help people better understand the truth of a God who's the same yesterday, today, and forever.